repeated. Tell us about a time when your ministry helped someone feel seen, cared for, or supported. What was that time? It could be a small moment or a big project. Who'd like to share?
All right, I will go since nobody else is jumping in. Um, so we have had a presence at Motor City Pride the last few years, and we have a booth. We're in among the vendors, even though we're not selling anything. But we're just basically there, and we have stuff if people want to take it, and we're there to talk, but we're just kind of there to be present and show that there is an affirming and supportive church in the area. So we have temporary tattoos that we can put on people if they want them, and rainbow colored friendship bracelets that we can put on people if they want them. All of that, and it's always interesting that some people like sort of see us and are curious, and then like realize we're a church and keep walking, right? Like they're like, nope, not doing that, and that's fine. And then there's people who are incredibly happy that we're there, that there's a church community, whether or not they are currently part of a church community, they're happy to see that we're there. And there are other churches there too. But the first year we did it, there was a trans woman who was probably in her 60s, maybe 70s. And she was in this beautiful, like, skirt suit thing, like light pink, and she had some pink in her hair and all of this. And she came up and was talking to us, and we were just talking. I was talking with her a little bit, and all of a sudden she said, this is this is my 1 month anniversary of coming out. And yeah, and this older woman, right? And I was like, we have body glitter. It's actually called unicorn snot. But we do glitter blessings with it. And I was like, is it okay for me to give you a glitter blessing? Like, I really want to do this for you. And she said, yeah. And so you just put a little glitter on the cheekbones or something, and basically gave her a blessing, and was just like, I am so glad that you are here, that, at whatever age, whatever time, you can be fully yourself and know that you are fully and completely loved by God for who you are. And she, got teary and then hugged me. And it was just like, it was the best moment ever. To know that she felt like she could be there finally in her life, and that, we could share in that a bit. So yeah.
That is awesome, and I love that. Wow. Never thought about what a cool idea, a glitter blessing.
Yes, I highly
Wow.
recommend it. I've seen other
Right?
churches do it in other places, and it's just clear body glitter gel, called unicorn snot. And we do it at church too. That Sunday, we'll do glitter blessings, as we're doing communion and stuff, if anybody wants one. But yeah, and some people want it and some people don't, and again, that's fine. And it can be just a simple little blessing, but just a little bit of happy and letting them know that they're blessed.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Do you buy this online? Hope, I think, I imagine.
Yeah.
Do you happen to have that? Maybe you can put it in a chat, like where to find it, or
Yeah, I think I was trying to think if no, the box of all the prize stuff is back in the closet where it belongs, instead of still in my office 6 months later. Um, uh, there's other things that have been in here for way too long. I think I just got it through Amazon, but yeah, I'll put it in the chat of what we use, because
awesome.
we also have very, like, green, environmentally conscious people in our church. So I specifically
Yeah.
looked for one that, like, wasn't tiny microplastic that we're gonna,
Yes.
wash off and be horrible. So this is, you know, environmentally friendly body glitter, which I don't know how great it really is, but it's better than others. So yeah, I'll look it up.
But it's good to be conscious of that. Yeah, ours, the first thing they would say, like, no, because if there is something they don't allow in this church ever is glitter. In any form, it's too funny. Like, no, no, no. But I love that. Just how awesome, right? You care and it's good and doesn't matter if it's, I mean, the whole meaning behind of being colorful and loved and cared for. That is super cool. And this event, the Model City Pride, does that happen right downtown
Yeah,
at the,
so Detroit does have a pride parade, but it's very, very short, like distance wise.
um,
And the parade is fairly new, like since COVID. And so they do a 2-day festival on Hart Plaza. And so
mm,
that's the big pride event for Detroit itself. And so there's vendors and tons of music and artists, and food and all of that. So it's mostly the festival on Hart Plaza.
cool. I hadn't even heard of it. Good to
Yeah.
know. Anybody else?
I'll go next. I was just thinking, we were just talking at staff meeting this morning about having communion. We try to include children and families in communion and other parts of worship outside of just Children's Sunday as well. We've really pushed for that. And I had this one little girl, this two girls, they're sisters that were going to be helping that helped a few weeks ago. I was kind of coaching the younger one. She's in third grade and coaching her about how to, how you do this. And they've come to communion plenty of times, so they've seen it, but it's always different doing something. So I just wanted to make sure that she knew what was going to be expected of her. And that you'll hand out, I can't remember which she was giving, the bread or and you can, if you want, you can just say to people, Jesus loves you. Usually that's what we say to our younger kids that might, get a little freaked out about what she said. This is Jesus' body. What? So for younger kids, we just, instead of saying, this is Jesus' blood for you or body for you, we just say, Jesus loves you. And so I told her if she wanted to just say that to people, she could do that. She didn't have to say it was the body or whatever. And she was all totally focused on, yeah, but we also have little cups with, the kind that you can take. They're the cup and then they have the cracker on top of it and it's covered up the wafer. Because I think those are gluten free. And so we have some of those available too. And she wanted to, but can I have that? And I said, yes, you can have that. That's fine. You can have whichever one you want. But are you getting it that are you going to be here with me and helping? Your sister's going to do one and you're doing are you on board with that? And, yeah, but can I have the wafer and the cracker and the cup and and she's just kind of like all over. And I thought, oh boy, I hope she's gonna do, like if she does okay, if she doesn't, okay, it's a family friendly congregation. And so we go and we start and her sister's doing the one and she's doing the other one. Every single person, every single one, she didn't miss one. Eye contact. Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you. And after about the fifth or sixth one, I thought, oh my gosh, my heart is just going to burst. It is so big. She went through the entire service, and I don't know how many people came up to our station because we have a couple stations. And every single person, she didn't miss a one. She said, Jesus loves you. And I thought, good night, nurse. Here I'm all worried about, is she going to be okay? Is she going to fling the juice? Is she going to whatever? And she had this, God had this. It was such a blessing. And it still just even makes my heart big thinking of her. She's kind of a wild one. She has energy for days to spare. And it was just so perfect. And in such I'm just glad that we have that ministry that we welcome children and we welcome them into the service and we give them an opportunity to be productive people, not just observers or people that are supposed to be quiet. And of course we know they're not, but sometimes I know that I have been in congregations where that kind of thing is frowned upon. And all the kids, they can't do. No, we'll ask them when they're teenagers and they're a little bit more responsible. And no, this is a third grader, and we ask younger kids to do this too. But anyway, this was one that just it just makes my heart feel big thinking about her. To every single one, Jesus loves you.
I mean, how affirming. We do too.
Mm,
We invite kids from the get-go because then they
mhm.
get so used to it. It's a normal thing and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
feel proud of serving. But I
Hmm.
totally get where you go. In my head too, I always think, let's hope everything works out and nothing, because it's like that one moment you have. But kids, all the little ones that I have ever asked, they just do a brilliant job.
Hmm. They
Except I
do.
had one time one kid who froze. when he was really doing it, like he couldn't because people wear name tags. So we always say, look at the person. If you can read, look at their name and say, Jesus loves you, or this is the love of Christ given to you, whatever they might feel. And he froze. He wouldn't say a thing. And I'm like, ah. Oh. But then the adult who was with him spoke for both of them. So that
Mhm.
was cool.
Yeah.
But what those moments are so the
Mhm.
treasures, right?
Mhm.
It's yeah, I get.
And I think it affirms her, it affirms her family.
Yeah,
We're important, we matter, we can be
yeah,
productive. We're productive. We're a productive family,
yes,
productive children.
exactly. It's awesome to have children participate in this way. I love
Mhm.
it.
Everybody belongs.
And oh, sorry. Yes. Anyone else?
We tried to fit a number of service opportunities into our youth group and our Sunday school and our Edge groups each year. One thing we've done for the last, well, since I've been there, so 4 years with our Edge group, which is our fourth through sixth graders, is we do a Valentine's basket of sorts for all of our shut-ins in our church. And so they put together crafts and pictures and cards and treats and whatnot at our Edge meeting. And then Laura and I go and visit all these people and bring them their gifts from the kids, and they make cards that they sign, and and just for these older folks in our church who don't get the chance to get out much, for them to be able to see that they're cared about and loved by the kids of our church is really important, I think. And then we try to do one other service type opportunity with them. And last year we went to hand. No, what did we go to? Kids Food Basket? Kids Food Basket. And we packed lunches for our dinners or whatever it is for kids in our local public schools. And then with our youth, this year they are packing for hand to hand. Do you have hand to hand? Do you guys know what hand to hand is? Hand to Hand is an organization that feeds kids over the weekends. And we partner with one of our local high schools, and we have a food pantry set up for them actually. So they can come and pick the food that they want out of the pantry. But at Christmas time, they make these big bags for the kids. And so our youth group is going to be packing those and assembling those. And they're also doing a gift card drive so that the kids, they can put in like $5 gift cards to like McDonald's or to like the local gas station or one of the local stores. And we're going to collect as many as we can of those as well and throw those into the bags as an extra added um, treat that sounds wrong, but gift for the kids too. So those are some of the things that our groups are doing this year. Oh, and also for Valentine's Day, our Sunday school classes are going to be assembling cake mixes. So it's a cake mix and a can of pop and a thing of frosting in a pan. Then all they have to do is mix it all together and bake it. And so they're going to be assembling Jesus Loves You cakes for and handing them out in we have a food pantry here at our church. And so they're going to be handing out Jesus Loves You cakes for Valentine's Day. So
That's awesome. We have something similar with the children and youth work with the congregational care team. And so they have a list of people that are older and can come or have some health issues, whatever it might be. And then we assemble little gift bags. We have done other gifts in the past, but we think that this works much better. We assemble like little things that they can really use, nothing that they can keep, because usually a lot of them live in our retirement centers here. And so every kid puts one item in or cards or whatever, but then we divide it between them and say, okay, how many do you want to deliver? And have the kids and the parents go and deliver. We used to go in groups, which was also super cool. I mean, we had the best encounters, uh, you know, um, conversations. We usually stop a little bit and then it was always, it's hard because parents all have a ton of things going on, me included. So this Sunday is when we are going to assemble already for Christmas. But then as soon as we do that, I'm going to tell the parents, okay, how many would you like to deliver? Give them the address, the name, and take it because it usually stays in my office for a little bit. And then people have such busy schedules, and I ended up delivering a lot. And a lot of people, they don't just want to say, hey, Merry Christmas, here you go, from our church, but they they love to visit. And that's the whole purpose of it, right? To visit with them and hear. So I spent hours. I went to listen to stories, same story over, because that's really important. And they love to see little kids. So that's a big, we do that 3 times a year. But interesting enough, this year we have lost 14 members and they were all on that list. So it's like, oh my goodness. But needless to say, there are new people to be added. So, and on this Nakatud, we also do, have you ever heard, maybe, I don't, it's kind of surround all for you, Jackson, Michigan. They have a huge campaign. I mean, a lady, her name is Wendy White. She does something called Priceless Gift Store, is where a bunch of churches participate. Anybody can participate, and you ask people to donate gentle used toys or new that you have or pajamas. And she builds, it's in a mall called West Side Mall, I think. There aren't many things in this mall, but she has a literal store. So parents sign up, they go and shop for free. They say, I have a kid this age and that age, so they can pick out a new toy and a used toy or a bike or whatever it may be. And they shop and it's wrapped right there for them. They do a lot of things, but this one in particular is really cool. It's called Priceless Gift Store. You can check it out. They are now their 20th year, I think. So we have partnered with them for many years. Matter of fact, yesterday we took 3 truckloads packed with stuff because then the kids did little signs and asked the community, the congregation, and even on a Sunday morning went and read a little thing, and with this sweet voice, everybody said, "Oh," gives kids a good opportunity to go home and see what don't I play with that, it's just in my basement. Obviously, kids pick it up and say, "Oh, I love this toy." Kind of, "Oh, I rediscovered it. Can I play with it?" And that's how we make sure parents are also on board and say, you haven't played with it for like 3 years. Maybe it's time to let go. And then on Christmas Eve, we will remind them all and pray over and see all the kids who, will receive those presents that they were very generous to share. So that is cool. It's something it's not our immediate community because our immediate community has a lot of retirees. So that's our biggest thing. And that's something for us to go back. In the past, when we had a ton of kids, we used to go to one of the retirement centers and watch a movie, have popcorn with them, or do crafts. And we haven't done this after COVID, basically, because you know how they, especially in a place like that, they shut it down. But we have 3 big retirement centers in Chelsea, which is like amazing. Yeah. So there are a lot of opportunities in that sense. But who else would like to share what you're doing community-wise, mission-wise?
So our kids do we call it Kids on a Mission, and we plan something monthly for them to do during Sunday school. So we've done a variety of things. We've done some of the same things we do every year is we do Valentine cards for our shut-ins. We do college care baskets or boxes for our kids in December and in April for all of our college students. We've done a car wash. We every year in our area, we're south of Detroit. There is an organization called ChristNet, and they travel during the winter months from church to church for a week, and we house an overnight shelter for our unhomed friends. So we provide a place for them to stay, and often there's usually an activity every night and a meal, and then they get breakfast the next morning and a sack lunch. So our kids usually do something in that where we'll do like a game night or craft night, or we've done like nail polish and haircut. I mean, like there's different things. Trying to think what else we do. Yeah, there like we do a bake sale for Heifer International. But we try to do something different every single month, and the kids, just to get them in that habit of like active service, like monthly active service. We've done some things for families to do together, like Operation Christmas Child and stuff. But year after year, what we were finding is that those things were less attended. And like, it was always my worry that if we don't do something with the kids outside of like, these other events, then they're not really seeing like mission work being done or service work being done. So yeah, so that's some of the things that we do. It's worked out well. The kids love it. They always look forward. We usually do it like the second Sunday of the month. So it's pretty much the same time frame. So, and if we do something like the college boxes or something where we're giving things out, then we usually ask for like donations. And our church has been pretty generous with that. So
That's always a worry of mine, of asking a lot like we have a lot going on every time. Now our biggest push is for food, for Faith in Action that we have right in town, because it's a need right now. But and then we ask for coats for winter that we take to Cass, by the way, who does a lot. But in thinking, like, how do you think we can help families? I know that the older members, that is so ingrained in them to do that type of work. But how can we help engage like outreach families to like feel that this is something? Most parents say to me like, oh, this is very important, but what are things perhaps that would call them to really want their kids to help as well as themselves? What do you think? Like, what have you done perhaps, or do you have any ideas to engage parents more?
I guess when I gave my how do we support people, I was that was supporting somebody right within our own congregation. When I told my story about ministry supporting one of our kiddos, but outside of that, for community, we have a few things going on. In fact, there's a list in our newsletter of ways that families can engage in November and December for over the whole course of the holidays. But what the kids are doing is there's a foster organization over here in Muskegon called Kids Belong, and they are looking. They feel about they support foster and kinship families, and they have. I think there's over 500 stockings that they're filling, providing stockings for foster kids who are in foster and kinship care. And so they just put it out, and people in congregations or families, anybody who wants to take on some kids for to fill a stocking and have that be off the plate of the foster parents who are sometimes just in the middle of, oh my gosh, I've got into this and now I don't even know what to do. So that's one less thing that they have to worry about. So we took 10, our Sunday school department took 10 stockings. The senior high is filling 2 on their own, 2 older ones. And then the middle school, I gave them 2 stockings to fill. So they're handling the details of what's going in. And then our younger kids, all the classes from preschool on up to 5th grade, that leaves 6 stockings left. So I broke those 6 stockings down into, this many for this kid and this many for these. Here's some items. And I put them on little stocking cards up about that big up on the bulletin board with a cute thing like with a cute fireplace. It hung them all around that, so that as parents come down and bring their kids to Sunday school, or as they're picking them up and leaving with them, they can look together and say, well, let's take this stocking for this little kiddo, and let's take this stocking for this little kiddo. They go out and buy the things together, and then they bring them back, and that is how we're filling the stockings. And it sounds really early, but they want them back by December 1st. So every year it's been kind of like really last minute. So this year I had a note in my calendar to start on it in the first week of October. So I got it all lined up, and it's out, it's being done. And that way, there's some families don't, and some families do. And it's not like you're saying, here, you have to do this. It's there for families to choose together. They can look at the stockings and choose if they want to get a box of diapers for the baby, or if they want to get a toy for the 3-year-old, or if they want to get hair bows and all that kind of stuff. I kind of tried to even them out so that somebody wasn't spending $20 on something for this kiddo and somebody else is picking up, fruit snacks. But you can take multiple ones too. And it seems like it's been fun. This is the 3rd year that we've participated in it as a Sunday school. And I think the families they enjoy doing that. And I've had a number of people say, well, is it okay if I take 2? We're going to go shopping for this, but I see you still got a few left on the board, and sure, take as many as you want to. And if it's, the kids feel productive about it. We've done a lesson about, kids that need to be into foster care. I found some good books that illustrate that point. And so read stories and talked about, how do you think that Deli feels, and how do you think this feels, and does that make Deli a bad parent because she keeps forgetting to feed her kids and her baby duck, and and it even surprised me and Sandy that not surprised us, but it was nice to see when we did that, when we made a whole lesson. And so we got to talk to the kids about it in class in a relaxed atmosphere, how compassionate they were, even with mom, who had to, in the long run, let her baby chick go and live with another duck family. And that's, so anyway, and I know how meaningful it is too, even though 10 sounds like a lot, but then when you realize they're providing over 500 stockings, but they can't provide 500 stockings, if everybody doesn't take 1 or 2 or whatever. And this is 2 families. One of the families has 7 foster kids, 7 kids in their foster care, and the other one has 3. So I can't imagine. My heart goes out to the people that put this all together, and to the parents the foster parents, the kinship parents, because I couldn't do that. I don't feel led to do that, but I can support somebody who does that this way.
That's awesome. I also think you have a very good point. It's so important to have a little lesson about it so they understand. It's not just, oh, this is good to do, but
Go buy a
why are
toy
we
for
doing
somebody.
this? Yeah, yeah. It brings a whole other meaning to it.
I find this time of year, like, it's so easy for families to want to do stuff. And, like November and December, there's so many opportunities to serve. And even in just my personal life with friends, even if they're not active in a church or a community, where they're like, oh, we adopted a family for Christmas and we're going to buy everything. And I think, though, like, what do you guys do the rest of the year? Because I think that's always what I think when it comes up in, like, February, March, April, the rest of the year. And there's not as many, like, service organizations, like, providing opportunities on a regular basis, or maybe they are, but you just don't know about them as much because there's just so many opportunities this time of year. I don't know. How do we extend it past the holiday season, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, so, in some ways, well, in many ways, we're blessed to have Noah at Central here in the church, and that's year round. So the first Sunday of the month, we call our fellowship Sunday, and we, instead of like a light coffee hour, we have a meal, and then we do some sort of intergenerational activity. And sometimes it's more spiritual, sometimes it's more art centered, sometimes it's service oriented, sometimes it's advocacy oriented. And so pretty regularly we'll make sandwiches for Noah. And we're going to try in January to make food that can be served hot. Like the kitchen at Noah, well, the kitchen in our building is not a commercial grade kitchen, so it gets a little ridiculous. But it's always wonderful when the clients can actually get a hot meal and not just a sandwich. I mean, sandwich is great, but yeah. But when we do the sandwiches, it's really like everybody can get involved, whatever age level, whatever skill level. The NOAA staff, understandably, like has an assembly line system of like, here, if you set it up this way, it works. And so you have trays that you put the bread out on, and you send the tray down, and somebody puts cheese on, and you send the tray down, and then put the meat on, and then you send down, and somebody closes up sandwiches, and then send it down, and somebody stuffs them into the sandwich bags and puts them there. And you constantly need people running around clearing out trash and that kind of stuff. So the little kids are good for that. We usually need a few peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and that that's more time consuming, right? That's a little harder to do the assembly line thing. So people are sitting at a table to spread the peanut butter and then put the jelly in the middle so the bread doesn't get gross. And and think about it. A peanut butter and jelly sandwich sitting there for a while, the bread gets disgusting if you have the jelly touching the bread. So yeah, and then you have like these boxes full of sandwiches at the end, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, look at what we did!" And in an hour, you can make over 300 sandwiches without an issue. Like it takes a bit to get all of the supplies. That can be costly if you're really making that many sandwiches, but it's fun and people enjoy it, and they talk while they're doing it, and they get to know each other, and the kids run around and clean up trash and help with certain things. And yeah, so that one can happen, that can happen anytime. Noah is always looking for people to do that. So if you're in this area and could then drop the sandwiches off to Noah, you just sign up to do that. But I would bet in other parts of the state there are organizations that could use that kind of sandwich supplies as well.
And it's super cool. We participated before. Do you all know what the NOAA project program is?
Yeah,
Yes.
so NOAA at Central is an organization that serves people experiencing homelessness or housing insecurity, or sometimes just low-income people who are struggling a bit. And so there's a community center open Monday through Thursday from 9:30 to 4 in cold weather to 2 in hot weather, because we don't have air conditioning, and eventually it's not a good idea to have people sitting around and eat. So they feed people Monday through Thursday a lunch, and then throughout the week there's different other services that happen. Some of them are every day, and some of them are like 1 or 2 days a week. So there's community nurses. So a lot of these are retired nurses who do just sort of like basic blood pressure checks and wound care, and recommendations for you really need to go get this taken care of kind of stuff. And there's social workers on site that help people get like they're finding their birth certificates and getting their social security card and number, and finding all of their important documents. There's also a mailroom because the church building serves as the permanent address for like 400 people. Because if you're on the street, you don't have a permanent address, and so your social security checks and your disability checks and anything else, all your important stuff, you don't know where to get it. It also, because their permanent address is here, it turns out if they're eligible to vote, now they have a voting place as well, and we happen to be a polling center, so they just vote here. There's in Wayne County, maybe a couple other counties, there's something called CAM, the Coordinated Access Model or something, and it's how people get into the shelter system and find housing. And so they have sort of a satellite office here in our building that's part of NOAA. So if you come into NOAA and you're looking for housing, you can immediately get connected with CAM. from time to time, dentists come in and do a free dental clinic during COVID. And even since then, we'll have, vaccine clinics that come through. Everybody can get that. Haircuts every so often. Yeah. So, and like tomorrow, I'm going to go down for an hour. I've been doing this project with the church on Sundays where we're creating sort of fake stained glass, so plexiglass, and have the word thanks on it outlined. And then they're taking pieces of tissue paper and writing things or drawing things that they're thankful for. And then we're gluing them onto the plexiglass and creating stained glass art. And so for an hour tomorrow, I'm going to be in the community center with the NOAA clients, inviting them to participate in it as well. So there used to be Art and Soul, which was a program actually of Berkeley and Birmingham, that would come and do artwork with NOAA clients as a sort of therapy and outlet and things like that. So yeah, so there's a lot happening in this building all week long, which in many ways makes it easy to do stuff and also sometimes difficult because it's just, there are from time to time security concerns. Like NOAA is considered a no barrier day shelter. So you do not have to be sober or on your meds to come in. You can't use anything while you're here. If we see that, you will be thrown out for a while. But you could be drunk or high and walk in the doors as long as you're not disruptive to people, which means this cannot be a safe sanctuary certified kind of space. So when I'm working with the children and youth, we do stuff usually when the clients aren't here to help NOAA, or I specifically let parents know that like your kids will be safe, but they are going to hear things that I wouldn't normally allow them to hear. And they might see a few things that I wouldn't normally allow them to see if they're actually going to be physically present when NOAA is operating. So that's the balance that I have to do, because it's really meaningful to like serve lunch, but it's also a community that is holy chaos all of the time. So yeah.
That's true. Things that we perhaps don't deal with here, that is a reality. But it's an awesome program. We have done this, like Ann said, you can do it in your own church and then take it there in a reasonable amount of time, obviously.
Yeah, you
But
can donate and just drop off the food, or you can also donate food and serve it, or you can, I think, just sign up to serve food as well. So there's a couple different ways you can send a team to do that, or however you want. Yeah.
Yeah, we have never gone to serve, but it's a good idea. We have in the past for CAS, which is kind of not really similar, but kind of, right? I mean, you're not familiar. Did anybody ever do something with CAS in Detroit?
Yeah,
Well,
our church
here's
serves
another.
every Saturday morning, or one Saturday morning a month at Cass. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, we've done Noah too, though. We've served some
Yeah.
made sandwiches for Noah as well. So
Anybody else has an idea of what you do in your own community that doesn't involve perhaps some other community that you think would be worth sharing? Everything is worth sharing.
You were talking about doing things all year long, and this is another agency that helps people that are experiencing homelessness, and it's called Family Promise. Some of you might have heard of that because it's not just a Muskegon thing; it's a nationwide thing. And I know that there are a couple of chapters in Grand Rapids, and I would expect there are some over on the east side too. But what they do is the model of Family Promise is that they have churches, congregations, synagogues lined up, like 13 of them. And the model is that in a perfect world, every 13 weeks, your church would take a rotation in housing them for a week. And that would mean, and they have their own set of beds. A trailer comes over and brings them to the church, and the church's responsibility. Then what the expectation for us is that we provide a sleeping space, and we would use our Sunday school hallway, and families would be in the Sunday school rooms. Um, each family to a room, having their own room, and we would provide different volunteers each night would provide a dinner. Somebody else would be the overnight host, staying there in case the families needed anything in the evening, and just, being there, locking the door at night before everybody goes to sleep. And then in the morning, they get up and would be driven, either drive their own vehicles if they have them, or be driven in a vehicle by a volunteer. I used to do this part, get up and go and take them back to the day center. And then from the day center, where they are during the day, that is their permanent address. And that is where they can keep some belongings in a room that they had specified for them there. And that's where they can spend time during the day if kids need to take a nap, or where they go out to from church, or I mean school. They still go to school if they have kids in school. Well, it's a family agency, so it's families with children. If they have a job still, they're going to work from there. If they have to get their kids to childcare, they're getting their kids, getting rides from there. That is their address. And then each week, at the end of the week on Sunday morning, they would leave our church and go back to the day center. But then that night, by the time nighttime came along, the next church will have come over and picked up the beds in the trailer and take them on to the next church. So they would go like this. Recently, within the last year, they have acquired some kind of approval from the city that allows them to house the families overnight there. So they're not bouncing from church to church. During COVID, it was necessary for them to stay there. So there was like some sort of emergency. Yeah, it's okay. People can stay there because churches aren't going to have them in their churches. They're, everybody's isolating. So they stayed there then. And so starting because of that, I think it kind of propelled them to look into, why can't we do this? Why can't we just continue this? So they're staying there overnight, but we do still support them when it's our turn come around. And it's works out to be more than every 13 weeks, because sometimes a church either can't, or at sometimes over the years there hasn't been 13 churches. Sometimes it's been down to only even 8 or 9 churches or congregations. And so now we still support them by, when it is our week, somebody still is making dinner, but we're taking it over there, and then they eat it over there. There's a big room that's over there with tables and chairs in it, and they can eat it. They can eat their dinner there, and we provide them also with things to make lunches for the kids going to school or for people going to work. And the goal is to try to, put away some money, save some money, and not be buying McDonald's every night and all the kind of things that you do. We're supporting you with some of these things so that you can squirrel away some money, because anyway, Family Promises is one of the things that we do, and we do is probably about maybe every 2 months or so that we get. No, about every 6 weeks, I guess. We have a rotation that we do that. So that's one of the things that we do all year long. And we also have a food pantry in town. This is totally separate. And our families with children don't necessarily get involved so much with this, because they serve dinner. We have a food pantry that serves a meal every single day except Sundays, I think. And different churches all over the city take turns, and we have 2 days a month that are our days, and we send volunteers over to serve the food and all that. There's somebody there who cooks it every day. Her name's Brenda, and she's an angel, and but she needs the volunteers there to come and help finish everything. She's there earlier in the day cooking it all, but here it is, y'all take care of it now. And so they serve it and clean up after it and all the business. But they do, it's like at 3:30 to 5 or something. So it's not a real, families that are either working or have kids in school, it's not real conducive to that. So, I mean, that's something that we do to support the community, but not necessarily with our families doing that part for that one. So that's a couple of things that we do.
Just a
during the
couple.
rest of the
That's
year.
amazing. I have never heard of Family Promise, but what a cool program.
It
I'm gonna
is
look
really,
into
it really is, and I miss the times that when they used to come. I used to do overnight hosting there sometimes too. And, sometimes you'd
Wow.
sit up at the families pretty much are gone into their rooms and going to sleep by 9, 10 o'clock. But sometimes you'd sit up with somebody who maybe came out to get a glass of juice or something like that, and here and you just have conversations with people. Sometimes not, sometimes, oh hi, yeah, there, yeah, good night, have a good night. And sometimes you just, like you kind of click with somebody and you have conversations
Mhm.
with people that you feel like, wow, that's you don't think about the stories. There's so many
Yeah.
people that have that are really down on their luck, or they're just in a hard place, and they all came from someplace too, and
Yeah.
they all have a story.
I mean, it's hard, especially for a family, to go every night and sleep someplace else. I can only imagine how hard that is,
Yeah,
and
in
to be
most
there.
shelters are men's shelters or women's shelters. So if you're a
Yeah.
family, you're split
Mm-hmm.
up. But this
Yeah,
is the whole design of this is so that families stay together.
exactly.
Mhm.
That is super important, and I mean, it's awesome. I never heard of it. I will definitely
Family
look
Promise.
into
Yeah,
it.
look it up. Maybe there's
Yeah.
I bet there's probably one in your area, and maybe it's something. It might be an
Right.
outreach that your church might enjoy
True.
connecting with.
That's nice. Cool. Anyone else would like to share? Or here's one for you. What mission ideas are you dreaming about that you haven't tried yet?
Hmm.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where to start with this yet. But we're downtown Detroit, and a lot of what happens downtown is becoming an entertainment district, right? All of the big sports arenas are right here, and I mean, across the street from us is the Fox Theater and the Fillmore Theater, and then music hall is nearby, and the Opera House, and all this. And um, there are some family friendly things that happen throughout the year. Downtown Detroit Partnership will do stuff in some of the downtown parks, but so much of it is geared towards adults with disposable income. And some of it is very much not family friendly, right? Like it is really, the you know, uh, beer gardens going up in the parks and whatever else. And it'd be great if we could find a way that when things are happening downtown, we're the location for the family friendly part of it. Like that's kind of a dream that Paul and I have talked about. Like, how do we become that space? Whether it's using our parking lot or our building or something. But yeah, like it's there's questions about who would we need to partner with that, because we don't have the funds to like throw a giant thing. And um like what would that be in it, and do we really have the staff and the time and all of it? Because I you're all church people, how sometimes your job can be every single day and every single hour of it, and people don't always understand that maybe adding a Bible study on Saturday mornings is really great for some of the congregation, but that means an extra work day for me. um so maybe I won't be running it. um so if we were to do all that kind of stuff, like what would that look like? But yeah, that's just one of the things that's been keeps popping up, like in our conversations at church here, of how do we become a a space for families to enjoy downtown, the way that a lot of wealthier adults are starting to do so.
Yeah, I think that's excellent. How to do this. The other day somebody was saying, "Oh, all those things that they would like to see." And my response was exactly that. I think w- if we focus on what is already going on and how can we partner, which sometimes we even fail to think because we want to do this beautiful thing at our church, but maybe if we partner with other people in the community, it would be stronger we just have a tendency not to think that way. Um, but I think it's always a good idea. Like somebody said, "Oh, why don't you have a group for this specific issue that they're going through?" And to exactly what Anne said, that means one more thing for me to do, one more thing for me to find the time, the space, the person, everything. So I suggested, this organization is doing it, this organization is doing it. How about, maybe that would be a good option if the person said, no, but I feel safer in the church, which is a challenge for us to think like how to navigate that. How can we partner with other people and at the same time make make the people who really would like to see this happen here feel welcome, and which also is a part of thinking how can I make this happen, right? So they feel comfortable with other community partnerships, so to speak. But it's always good to think that way. If we can just so keep dreaming. We actually are at the end of our time. Would anybody like to share something they haven't today that they would like to in regards of mission, and or kind of this is what I'm trying want to try to do the next months, and would like to support, even if it's a prayer support. This is the group to do it. So anybody else?
I don't have too much to say because I just started like a month ago. But I think my mission, the demographic of my church is there's no one my age. It's all older. And I moved to Michigan like 4 or 5 months ago. So that was definitely different for me coming from Indiana because there's
Mhm.
so many people my age, like in every church. It's crazy just the difference. Um, I just think that my mission, which is already kind of going pretty well, the first 2 Sundays I was here, there was no kids in our Sunday school. And now there's like 10, and we had 15 kids at a bowling event that we held on Sunday also. And I sent out letters to every individual family, with like a
Mhm.
picture of me and just a little bit about me and what's going on these past couple of months. So I'd say that's been pretty successful, and it might just be because it's the holidays, and I've really been promoting our Christmas program that we're going to be doing with kids. But
Mhm.
either way, um, they seem really excited about it. So I just think my goal is obviously just trying to get more kids back into the Sunday school.
That's awesome, Sophie. Yay, that's already a good start. It's amazing. I always say, who one time mentioned here that didn't have any kids, and but they prepared room anyhow, and the kids came, the families came. So I think that's a good lesson for us always. We have to prepare room, right? Because it will happen. So very happy for you. Yay!
Thank
You.
You're welcome. Which church, remind me, which church are you at?
Central United Methodist Church. It's in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
Right.
Definitely a lot different than Indiana.
Oh, really?
Yeah, obviously just the weather. I mean, I'm used to snow where I grew up. Like I was walking to class in snowstorms and blizzards. But yeah, just it got a lot colder, a lot faster. That's for sure.
I know, sorry. And the snow might still come. Who knows what's on the horizon for this year?
How much do you have,
Okay.
Sophie?
It all melted at this point, but
Okay.
it snowed at least 4 or 5 times, and the first snow we got stuck. And I want to say it was probably about this much. It was a pretty good amount. Like you couldn't see any of the grass. So every time after that, it stuck for a little while, but it was like, just a little bit. But our ground is clear now. So
You.
My daughter's up in Marquette, so yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, be safe. Well, it was lovely seeing you all. We will have one more meeting this year, which is December. Does any of you ladies have it there? Should have it right in front of me, but where is
Third,
it?
December 3rd, I think. Yeah.
December 3rd. And it's all about a Christmas check-in. So it's just for us to have a informal conversation to what is on our Christmas to come. I know by then we are going to be even busier than right now, and which give us a good opportunity to be together and check with each other, see how we're doing, and pray for each other, and have a good end of year, so to speak. So hopefully you can all make it. I'm going to look forward to it. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Have an awesome, blessed week and Thanksgiving. And we see each other December 3rd. Bye bye.